Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hello, Darren. How you doing?
Hello, John. How are you? And wait, whoa, what's this? We have a special guest with us this episode.
Oh my goodness, that's why there's like a third person on the screen right now. Oh wow. Okay.
I know, I thought it was like the ghost in the machine, but no, it's not. It's a guest, it's a person.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest here tonight is a good friend of mine, hilarious comedian, and one of the nicest, if not the nicest person in comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sue Funke.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
I'm super happy to be here. I love your podcast, so it's an honor to be on.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
An honor. That is high praise.
I don't feel that we deserve that, but okay.
Yeah, we're very self-deprecating on this podcast, Sue. You'll find.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You've heard the backlog, so you know.
Yes.
It's like God, these guys really don't like themselves, do they?
No, you like each other, not yourself.
Yes, exactly.
That's pretty much it. Yes. We have respect for the other one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we once got a review on Apple Podcasts. It was like, these two guys are great. They have great chemistry, but one of the hosts, a little of them goes a long way. And it was
my God.
And it was like, but hopefully they're both glass half full guys, and they'll assume I'm talking about the other one. And I'm like, you've never met a comedian, have you?
That review haunts us to this very day.
Our self-loathing knows no bounds.
That review is like from 4 years ago, and we still think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sue, thanks so much for joining us on our podcast here. So we started off with when we have a guest, like we always do. Do you consider yourself a SNL nerd? Are you a fan of the show? Are you a casual fan? Like, what's your relationship? What's your origin story? What's your history with Saturday Night Live?
I am an old school fan of Saturday Night Live. I don't really like the new stuff, but I blame my stand-up comedy career for that. Ever since I've done stand-up, I don't like watching stand-up. And sketch is kind of part of it too. I think there's just part of me that gets upset that I'm not doing it. And not I want to be famous. It's like, oh, that looks like so much fun, and I could find ways to make it more fun. And but I grew up watching Saturday Night Live. My siblings are older than me, and we were one of the first families to get a VCR. So they would tape it, and we would watch it together in the 80s and the 90s. And I would say my favorite era is Mike Myers, Dana Carvey. I also am one of the only people that liked Colin Quinn Update, I feel like.
That is a rare piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an acquired taste.
I used to end my my show that I did at QED with I'm Sue Funke, and that's news to me. Or no, I'm Sue Funke, I'm gonna go continue being Sue Funke. And that was Colin Quinn's thing, was that he was Sue Funke. Also, no, I'm kidding.
He was
yeah. No, but I remember being in I forget what year it was, but it was I found in the library a 25-year anniversary book of SNL, and it must have been around the 25-year anniversary. And I remember just going so deep into that book and doing all this research on everybody that it mentioned and being so into it. And yeah, I'm just I don't watch it weekly, and I actually have been enjoying your podcast because I feel this is easier than watching it. Now I kind of get a gist of it.
How does it play when you're not watching the show? Does it work? I mean, I guess it does to some degree.
Yeah, no, it kind of does, because it's you see little bits and pieces on social, and then you guys are kind of filling in oh, this is a reoccurring character, and I'm oh, that's why I always see that guy. And that kind of stuff. It does it just makes it easier for me to fit into the zeitgeist. When people are oh, did you see that on Saturday Night Live? I could be kind of. Through another person's eyes.
Yeah, the SNL Nerds, we give you the tools to fake your way through a conversation.
Exactly.
It's a great tagline. Look good on a hat.
I mean, I think that the Will Ferrell years are also amazing. And
Mm.
the fact that you guys, I feel very intimidated. Oh wait, you haven't said that we're going to do that yet, have you? Have I blown the excitement about Anchorman 2?
I mean, anyone who's listening
The
to
big
this
reveal.
or listening to it on YouTube, they've seen the title, so I think they know that we're covering Anchorman.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
So I don't think
All
you're
right.
spoiling anything.
yeah.
But the first time that you guys talked about Anchorman, you had like the guy who wrote the history of the movie.
Mm.
And now
That's
I'm like,
true. Yeah, we had on the fellow who literally wrote the book on Anchorman. That was for our 250th episode. Author Saul Austerlitz. I'm probably
Ooh.
mangling his name because it's been a little while.
definitely go back and listen to that episode if you haven't. If you really want to like totally understand the comedy wonderful theory of it, if you just want somebody who's a super fan of Anchorman 2, listen to this one because
Yeah.
this is I love Will Ferrell and like this is literally like my favorite movie. And people, I think that's like says a lot about me and not the best of ways. But I
Mhm.
just think this movie is a laugh a minute and like it's my happy movie. It's my airplane movie. Like when I go on an airplane, I just like put this on and I'm just like so relaxed and happy.
Did you
Wow.
see this one before you saw the first one, or you just
No,
saw it
I saw the
after? And
first one and I was a fan of the first one, but this one, I don't know if it was the edible in the theater or what, but man,
Mm.
this one just always makes me laugh. And I've seen it sober though. So I think it's funny.
Okay.
okay.
Okay. So yeah. So let's dive in. So yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
and maybe before we dive in, I'll just mention for anyone who's curious, if you're wondering when we covered the original Anchorman, that was way back in episode 77 in 2020. So yeah,
Damn.
it's
Oh
taken us a
wow.
while to get to this. Like we were self quarantining when we did this episode when we did the first
Oh.
movie.
Yeah. Wow. I think I remember that. It's like one of the
I mean,
first episodes I did from the bedroom here.
yeah, I mean we still
Wow.
are self quarantining
Yes.
essentially, but we're doing it by choice now. So
Yes. Absolutely. But yeah. I mean, I know how you feel about Will Ferrell because yeah, he was on like in the early aughts going on a run. I think it was almost. I was thinking about it. I was almost kind of compare it to that run Jim Carrey had in '94 a little bit because
mhm.
for those that don't know, like Old School and Elf came out the same year in 2003, and then after Elf was 2004, and that's when Anchorman came out. So he had like Old School, Elf, and Anchorman like all in a row, which is
That's
pretty
true.
pretty amazing.
Hmm.
Which I don't know, it always kind of confused me that like how it took a while for them to come out with this movie, Anchorman 2, which came out about 8 years, 8 or 9 years after that.
9 years later, it came out in 2013. Yeah,
Right.
apparently they tried to get a sequel off the ground at Paramount earlier, but like Paramount didn't like how the numbers were adding up,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and they didn't agree to it initially. It says, but however, the studio later decided to greenlight the sequel. So like, but apparently Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, and Steve Carell all took pay cuts to
Oh,
to to get the movie made. So
But this
interesting.
movie made more than the first one.
yeah, I think it's kind of like Austin Powers in a way because like a lot of people discovered it on home video or streaming or whatever.
Yeah, I would say Austin Powers is definitely a good comparison to it. It's like one of those films where when it came out, I don't think it did. No, yeah, like it was like through word of mouth and stuff. Just, the
Hmm.
first one just did so much better than
Yeah,
the second
But yeah,
yeah. I mean,
one.
there was definitely an audience for it that was primed for this movie. I still remember when Will Ferrell came on Conan O'Brien show on TBS to like announce that it was definitely happening. He came on in
yeah.
character as Ron Burgundy, and the audience just
And
exploded.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. It was one of like I totally vividly remember that and being like I am first in line. I
Mm,
cannot wait.
yeah, because I mean that first Anchorman, it was like such a cultural kind of phenomenon. It was like I remember not being able to go one day hanging out with my friends and not having a Anchorman quote being said by somebody in our
hmm.
circle. Like I like Scotch, I love lamb.
You smell like
Yeah.
Sex,
a dirty pirate hooker,
yes, Sex Panther by Odeon.
right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of a big deal. Yeah, just I have many leather-bound books. Yeah, it was just it's such a quotable movie. You see it on T-shirts everywhere. So when the second one came out, yeah, it was a fever pitch. So yeah, so the
Yeah.
Anchorman 2 Legend continues, written by Farrell and McKay, directed by Adam McKay, came out December 18th, 2013. had a budget of 50 mil and it grossed 173 mil. So not too shabby, eh? Not
Yeah,
too
it
shabby.
Yeah.
did all right for itself, I think. And I think the reviews were generally kind, right?
Generally,
I didn't look up a lot of
Yeah.
the reviews, honestly. But
I feel like it was very much like if you liked the first movie, you'll like the second one because it's a lot of the same bits, but different
yeah.
time. Like,
Hmm.
which I was like, obviously, yes, I'm there. I think that they did a good job punching up the first movie with a lot of the stuff that they have in the second one.
Yeah, I mean that's always a tough thing about comedy sequels is because you to some degree you have to repeat what people loved about the first movie, but
mm,
you also
Hmm.
have to do enough new stuff to surprise them so they don't feel like it's just a retread.
yeah.
Hangover. Excuse me.
Oh
Oh
shit!
Excuse me.
God.
Excuse me.
I
Yeah.
no, I
Hangover two sucks. Sorry.
you're right.
Right. No, I just
Oh wow, allergy
I have an
season.
allergic reaction to bad sequels. So
Yeah, that's cough cough. Zoolander 2, cough cough.
I haven't seen
Oh
Zoolander
yeah.
two in
I
forever.
didn't do either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I didn't
I
see it
don't
Really?
think I
either.
ever saw it.
I didn't see it either. I just know everybody said it's not good. I was
Actually,
trying to.
maybe I didn't see Zoolander 2 at all. I don't think I've seen it all the way through. We should watch that sometime.
Should we
Anyway,
watch it for the podcast? Zoolander 2?
yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not going to be an Anchorman 2, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
Well, you guys will have your opinions. It'll
if
be
yeah,
it
okay.
inspires a decent conversation, that's fine. That's the main thing. And as long as we don't watch too many horrible ones in a row, because then
yeah.
that just gets really depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, are there no more good movies in the world?
Yeah. If we watch like 3 or 4 bad movies in a row, I'm just like, Darren, let's just watch something good, something we both like.
Yeah.
I beg of you. There must be something good out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so let's dive into this movie. Yeah, because I remember when it came out, the reviews were fairly good for the most part, but I do remember a few people were like, "Oh, it's not as good as the first," and like, I mean, that's always going to happen. You're always going to compare
Hmm.
the sequel to the first one, and it's usually just not going to measure up to your high expectations. And
Yeah.
and comedies generally have a hard time making a sequel to something that measures up to the first. Um, but yeah, and Sue, like I remember when you mentioned we should do this movie. I remember the first time watching this movie thinking, "Oh, I remember it being okay." But
Hmm.
after watching it again, it held up a little bit better than I remember it held up the first time. I will say that.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's dive in. Yeah, we open up with what do we open up with?
With Ron, well, we open up with Ron in the ocean being attacked by a shark,
Yes,
which we don't
But
get
that's
to for
not where you really want to start.
yeah,
right.
no,
That's we have our narrator back
right,
of just where do we begin with the legend of Ron Burgundy?
Mm,
hmm,
Not here. It could start many ways, but we start in New York, and
hmm,
then we have white lines just coming in. The
mm.
soundtrack of this movie is so good.
This the
Like,
needle.
can we just
sure,
talk
yeah,
about that? Like,
Yeah, I will say the needle drops in this movie are pretty tight. Like
yeah,
like this entire soundtrack is something I would have on heavy rotation in my home.
yeah, because we're
and I
moving
haven't
into
been able to
1980
find.
from the
Yeah.
70s setting of the first one, so
Yes.
we still have a lot of the 70s feel because like the 70s hadn't really died by 1980, but
No,
yeah,
No.
we're
Yeah.
starting to get into the 80s too. So best of both worlds. So we
right.
got Ron and Veronica walking down the streets in New York City. Our first of many cameos in the movie. Drake compliments Veronica's ass.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like a
It's
Loch
an
Ness monster.
ass-like monster. Mysterious and never sought after. Like, and
How
then like
poetic,
Ron's retort is literally like, and this also is like my problematic self is like, what a love line when he's like, you got an ass like a North Star. Wise men are gonna follow it.
yeah.
Beautiful. Like what a love note that is.
right? It's kind of sweet.
Sue's
Yeah.
love language, poetic ass compliments.
Yeah.
So what's what a girl wants. That was what
Yeah,
Christina Aguilera was singing about.
that's right. Take notes, fellas.
So Ron and Veronica, they're more or less in the same spot they were at the end of the first movie. They're hosting Weekend Edition together
Yeah, in New York.
and
Mhm.
in New York, and they get word that the big time anchor Mac Tannen is
What
retiring after 35 years.
what a name.
and
Yeah.
they're being called up to meet him, and they're just like, well, what could this be about? Are we replacing Mac Tannen? Could this be it? Are we being called to the majors? And yeah, and we meet Mac Tannen, played by a, let's see, Harrison Ford. I, yeah,
That new
doesn't
guy?
ring a
Yeah.
bell, but
No.
What an
yeah.
amazing reveal that Harrison, like, I don't believe that this was in the news that Harrison Ford was in this movie because I remember being in the theater and seeing him and losing my shit.
Oh,
Like,
really?
just being like, this is amazing that Harrison Ford is in this movie.
I was thinking he was in like some of the trailers or something, but maybe I'm misremembering.
No, no, that was a surprise. And I mean,
Okay.
we'll get to it, but like the big battle in the park, there's like two cameos where it literally was like, whoa, what this? Okay, all right,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah.
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I remember Will Ferrell telling a story about like when he was shooting with Harrison Ford, and like I think after they finished Harrison Ford's scenes for the day, he just like turned to Will Ferrell and said dinner, and then and Will Ferrell, like he was like so nervous around Harrison Ford, he didn't realize Harrison Ford is asking me out to have dinner with him. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna get like something in my trailer." And so he like basically turned down
Oh.
dinner with Harrison Ford and didn't put it together until later.
I
Oh God,
can't.
that's so relatable.
Yeah, can't say
I
I
get
would
it.
act this. You
I
know,
would probably be the same way.
it's like no way he wants to have dinner with me.
Yeah, yeah.
And he plays
So
such a great straight man in this, where
yeah,
he's just
yeah,
like, I killed two men in Okinawa, and he's like Ron's like WW2, and he's like, no, that was last week, or
yeah,
like
yeah.
something like that. It was so good. Like,
And so he physically inspects both Ron and Veronica.
Yes, like dogs in a dog show.
Yeah,
yes,
and he finally names Veronica as his replacement to be the first female anchor of a national newscast, and then he immediately fires Ron.
Says he's the worst anchorman he's
yeah.
ever seen.
Yep.
And then we get an amazing montage because he's like, what did I do? And it's just all the follies of Ron Burgundy, which are just hit after hit ridiculous and silly and fun.
Sneezing on
Um,
the lens,
Oof.
swearing on
did you get
air.
that?
uh,
Yeah. So yeah, so Ron is once again disgraced.
Yeah.
yeah. We see the two of them go home, and they have a young son named Walter.
Hmm.
Ron is still very upset over Verona taking the job, and he basically says, "Look, it's either the job or it's me." And of course, they split up. 6 months later, Ron is back in San Diego, drunkenly hosting a show at SeaWorld, the dolphin show, uh, crying, saying how lonely he is and how he paid a hobo to spoon him. Just
Can
at
we
the
just
lowest of
talk
his.
real quick? I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can we talk a little bit about the precocious son? Because I
Hmm.
just love the way like this kid is just so ridiculous sitting there. He's got this little voice.
Oh yeah,
And like Ron's like lecturing him about like no he could like he's saying wildly inappropriate things
Right.
and like their housekeeper's standing there and she's like your father's a wise man and Veronica just turns around and screams I will lock you in a closet to the to the woman playing the maid and it is just such an off the cuff explosion from Veronica. I always find that so funny and
Hmm.
that scene is just like between the two of them, like you're like, oh wow, they really are like just done, is the way that you feel. Even though he
Yeah.
has this kid, it's just over. And yeah, then we go to SeaWorld and we have the amazing Eliza Coop
yeah.
as
So I was
one of
going to mention
the
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Eli- Eliza Coop from the criminally underrated Happy Ending show.
best show
Fantastic.
ever.
Yeah, like Eliza Coop's so funny. She's always somebody who I think is like, more people should know about her. She's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wish. I remember she came on like the last couple seasons of Scrubs, and I thought, oh
Yes.
yeah, she's really great. I wish she was in the revival that they're doing right now. She would
Hmm.
Mm.
great because there's like more to do with her character, I think.
Yeah,
Um, but Ron's not taking working at SeaWorld very well. He's an announcer there, but he's very drunk. He's very self pitying. He's in a very milk is a bad choice sort of way, and uh, someone from the crowd yells at him, "Children and animals hate you, Ron Burgundy."
That was his own child.
Yeah.
It's Adam McKay and his children are the
Oh,
children at
I didn't
SeaWorld.
realize
Yeah.
Adam McKay and Will Ferrell had children together.
oh, that's so
That's
sweet.
wow.
Yeah. No, it was really
Wow.
progressive of them. No,
That's
it's
really
both their
progressive.
separate
And
children
it's
that they
impressive
had
that
together.
science found a way, too.
Wow.
Jeff Goldblum was right. Life finds a
Fun.
way.
But
uh,
yeah, then Ron is so depressed he decides to take his own life the way of the ancient samurai by hanging
Hmm.
himself from a fluorescent light,
Right.
and of course
which then
he tries to do it and he fails.
fails. And Dylan Barker walks in and finds him, and Ron just says what happened, but he says it like a little kid. He's like, I think I tried to hang myself. And he's like, I don't know
Yeah.
why you're saying it like you're
He's
lying.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, Dylan Baker plays this producer, Freddie Sharp, who, for the longest time, whenever, like, for the first times I saw him in the commercials, I could have sworn it was like Ed Helms. I don't know why. He looks so Ed
yeah, there's a
Helmsy
bit of
to
an Ed
me.
Helps vibe. I can see that.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, so he sees Ron at his lowest, and he wants to give Ron a job because they're starting a 24-hour news channel called GNN, Global News Network. And of course, Ron thinks it's totally stupid. 24-hour news channel, that's ridiculous. It'll never work.
Right.
But then Freddie gives him his first years or first month's salary, and of course,
In
And it's
cash.
literally just cash in an envelope.
I
Yeah.
don't think he even counted it.
No.
No, it's just a lot of money.
He just
And
sees some big bills and he's like, all right. So then he decides, okay, I'm your man. I'm going to go gather the news team back together. So we get to see what everybody's been up to since the first movie. Champ is running a fast food chain called Whammy Chicken.
Whammy.
And we found out that I think he was going to be fired by the station in San Diego, but he faked a work injury and he ended up buying the fast food chain with a settlement money. So,
Right.
yep. And
and
the cost of chicken is too high,
yeah,
so he's got to use bats. Chicken of the
right.
cave.
Chicken of the cave, which is, I think, one of my favorite lines from the movie. Is like, chicken of the cave. And we literally see, like, he's unfolding one of the pieces of chicken, and it's a bat wing, a deep fried bat wing.
That's good eating.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so then they find Brian Fantana, who's a photographer for kittens. He
Yeah.
worked at a Cat Fancy magazine, and
Right.
he's living the life. He's doing quite well.
Yeah,
But
he's really got life by the tail.
yeah, oh,
He's really
He's
got life by the tail.
he's very happy, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to join you guys. And then they point out that New York City has all nude strip clubs. And then they hard cut to just, he's in.
Yep. And then they're like, oh, well, what about Brick? And he's like, oh, you guys didn't hear? Brick's dead. And then we cut to Brick's funeral, and we get the only real time that we see Chris Parnell and Fred
Fred
Willard
Willard. Yeah.
really is they reprise their roles and giving the eulogy for Brick, and then the next person to speak is Brick,
yes.
Yeah.
because
Brick
he does not
delivers his
realize
own
that he's dead.
eulogy. We also find out that he drowned at sea because he swam out to pet a fish. I think they
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, like no one's seen him ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
Brick's very broken up by Brick's death. So,
Yes.
and everyone has to point out, no, Brick, you're alive. That's you. You're not dead.
yes, yes. I did like the line where Brick gives at his eulogy, saying like Brick was a sweet man, and I will not rest until I find his killer.
Yeah. So,
Um,
so we cut
so
to the
yeah.
gang. They're driving to New York City in an RV. There's no one driving,
Oh yeah,
but we've got the cruise control on, and we've got let's see, scorpions, bowling balls,
yeah.
and
and a deep fryer.
a deep fryer.
A deep fryer and a Winnebago, of course. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What's the and then of course, as we all know, that's when Brian says, "Hey, wait, no, cruise control it doesn't control the steering; it just regulates the speed." and of course,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as that happens, the Winnebago flips over, goes out of control, and of course, everything that was mentioned, the bowling ball, the scorpions, and the deep fryer, flip over and hurt everybody in the Winnebago in slow motion while Muskrat Love plays in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Such a odd, bizarre moment, but it does kind of work.
And then they just like end up like fall like the car writes itself, everybody laughs, and then we
Yeah.
hard cut and they're in New
Yep.
York.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're like, oh, that's a story.
Yeah.
But like that's what I think is great about this movie. It just feels like a series of sketches that like accidentally tell a story.
Yeah.
Like and that's what I think is great about it. Like especially when you're talking about the SNL of it. It just feels like everybody from SNL got together and wrote a really good sketch that just kept going.
It
Yeah.
does
That's
have
true.
that vibe, yeah, for sure.
And it operates on this sort of cartoon logic. I mean,
Oh yeah.
like they're in the wreck of the Winnebago, but there's no real consequences to that. It's like they're fine by the next scene, just like the Roadrunner
Yeah.
and the Coyote or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Very
So
true.
they get to New York. They meet the crew of GNN. The big anchor who's anchoring the primetime segment is a guy named Jack Lime, played by James Marsden, the very handsome James Marsden.
Almost
Very tan in this
yeah.
movie.
Almost
Very
unfair.
orangey James Marsden.
Yeah, just he's almost unfairly handsome. It's like
Yes.
and he's good at he's good at comedy too. He's actually like
Yeah.
a lot of the comedies I've seen him in, he's actually pretty funny. So the fact that he's
Yeah.
that handsome and that funny, I don't know. I don't
And
like
he
that.
can shoot force beams from his eyes.
Yeah, right?
And
He's friends with
I-
Sonic the Hedgehog?
yeah. It's yeah, you just want to immediately resent him. By the way, I just watched that new movie he did with Vince Vaughn, Mike
Oh,
and Nick
Oh.
and Nick and Alice, and that's really good.
is it?
Okay.
That's worth checking out. Yeah,
Huh. I've seen the trailer for it and I was like, maybe, but I don't
yeah.
know. All right.
Yeah.
If you say it's
Thumbs
good,
up for me. So
if it's Trumbull approved, that's good enough for me.
just a quick movie recommendation. So
Good
Okay.
to know.
and they also meet Megan Good as Linda Jackson, who's she's like Ron's producer, I think.
Yeah, she's
Am I right
the
on
one
that?
that produces their segment of the show. Yeah.
Yeah. And she is a black woman.
Yes, as
And
Ron.
Brick has a great line. He just goes, Veronica got so tan.
And yeah, this is where we get like Ron's anxious, nervous. He just keeps saying black over and over again. I will say, as much as I love this movie, there is like a Sue Funk cut where I think that we could totally, as much as I like Megan Good, we could cut that character completely out and
Mm.
like all of those scenes, and the movie would still be great. Like I
Yeah,
think I could take like 20 minutes off the movie and nothing would be missed. And I don't mean like no offense, Megan Good. I know you're listening. I know you're a huge fan of the SNL Nerds
I know.
podcast.
Oh
Yeah.
my, forget
So
about it.
keep
We
at
get
it.
fan mail from her every week.
She's a
I
Patreon
know.
member, so be careful.
Yeah.
But like please, like I just don't think the character was well written, but it's like
Mm.
Yeah.
it's not my favorite part of the movie.
It
I would
feels like she's
say that's the popcorn break or the
yeah,
bathroom break.
it feels like she's mainly there just to give Ron like a new love interest for the
Yes.
movie. So
Yeah.
we're breaking up him and Veronica and then get them back together by the end of the movie. And then he has this, I guess you'd call it a fling with Linda Jackson.
Yeah.
I'd nominate like another segment of the movie as something that could possibly be cut out without harming the movie overall. But we'll get to that.
Ooh.
All right.
I'm just going to
Well,
plant
should
that
we-
seed now, and we'll
I'm
see what you
interested.
think. Yeah,
Interesting.
Well,
But
then
yes,
you
here's
can
the next
vigorously debate
love
me.
story that we get is Kristen Wiig, her character appearing, and she's basically like the female Brick.
Yeah.
And she
Yes.
works for June Diane Raphael's her boss, who I love her so much.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
terrific. I always love seeing her pop up and stuff. And
She's just the best bitchy comedic actress around. Like if you need somebody to come in to a scene and be a bitch, you need June Diane Raphael.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean,
who you need.
She
Where
killed it
She
in,
has
yeah,
a fair amount of bitches, I suppose. Yeah.
yeah, she killed it in
yeah,
Weapons.
she's just really good at it. And like, if you ever listen to How Did This Get Made, I don't think like I
Hmm.
think that's just kind of who she is, but like in a great way. I don't mean that as a dig. I
Just
think that she's like an icon.
yeah, hey, be careful, Sue. Again, June Diane Raphael is a Patreon of this podcast, and we
I
don't
mean,
want
I
to.
called her iconic.
Okay, we don't
Like,
want
I
Yeah.
mean, in like a way of
I,
like thatch.
Yeah, I don't
to.
get a bitch vibe from her real persona on How Did This Get Made, but maybe I don't know. Yeah.
I
Okay,
think it's just she's snarky and I love it.
Snarky I will go with. I'll co-sign on that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
absolutely. Uh,
She doesn't suffer fools gladly, so yeah, I
No,
can get that.
no,
Yeah.
she does
So
not.
yeah, but I do.
Um,
Yeah, but I do like Kristen Wiig's character Chani
mhm.
Last Name. I believe you pronounce it. But if you see it with the subtitles, it's just her last name is actually just the word last
last
name
name.
with a e, a little exit over the
Okay.
e. Yeah, and they actually had this nice moment between Brick and Chani where like the two of them are talking, and then I think she says, no, he says to her, no, she said to him, "What's your favorite time today? What's your favorite time of the day?" And he says, "Now." And then he says, "What's your favorite time of the day?" And he says, "Just," she says, like just a minute ago. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually kind of oddly sweet."
Hmm.
And then of course
It's a
Brick,
sweet love story. It's
yeah,
ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah, and then Brick squeezes her shoulder and runs away, which is
Yeah.
Yes.
which he constantly does every time. Just touches her shoulder, just runs away like a little boy.
Yeah.
It's great.
And so Ron and the news team, they find out they've got an apartment on the Upper East Side. I guess they're all living together. They're a little vague on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
But
the
they
monkeys.
find out that they're slotted for like the 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. slot. So it's like the
Yep.
dead of night. And they get into a bet with Jack Lime that they'll beat his ratings for the first night they're on the air.
Mm.
Hmm.
And the stakes are like if Ron loses, he has to quit and go back to San Diego. But if Ron gets better ratings than Jack, Jack Lime is going to have to change his name to Jack Lame and
Ooh,
Oh,
introduce himself by that name.
nice,
So high stakes.
high stakes. And we also find out that Ron tries to go, reconnect with Veronica, but unfortunately, Veronica is seeing someone, a man by the name
Mm-hmm.
of Gary, played by Greg Kinnear.
Mm-hmm.
and then we get this great runner of Gary being a psychologist and Ron mixing that up for a psychic and
Yeah.
just constantly being like, "You're controlling me with your mind,"
Yeah.
and
You can
like
you can read
mind
minds.
control.
You have mind powers. Yeah.
And then also the precocious kid comes back again, and he's just like, "Hi, Dad, I missed you," and it's just such a weird greeting. And he says that he got a gift for the kid, not Veronica, which we find out quickly after opening it. It was obviously for Veronica. It's a negligee, and the kid puts it on, and he's like, "I'm Lace Man."
Yeah, he
Yeah.
flies around the room like whoosh whoosh.
He thinks he's a superhero called Laceman because that's what his dad tells him. So
So yeah. All right. So then we meet Kench Allaby, the
Oh yeah,
guy who is basically like the stand-in for like he's like a Trumpy, Sumner Redstone-y kind of like Nepo cable owning guy who
yeah.
also owns an
very Charles
airplane. Like,
Branson too.
Oh,
yes,
Richard,
Charles
Richard,
Branson. That was the other one. Richard
Yeah.
Branson.
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. Yeah. Richard
Yeah.
Branson. Thank you.
But I just love that he's like, "Oh yeah, I took my dad's 300 million and I turned it into 305 million." It's like you basically collected interest. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of hard work.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great line that I think is like easily overlooked but very funny. And the guy who
Yeah.
plays him is what's his name? Josh
Josh
Lohman?
Lawson. Josh Lawson.
Lawson, yes. And he's great. He was in Super Stories and St. Dennis Medical. Yeah,
He
he's been in a
was
bunch of really good stuff.
Yeah, he was Kano in the last Mortal Kombat movie, and he was in something John and we've talked about, the Becoming Bond film. He played the young George Lazenby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was
I
him.
did not realize that was the same guy because he looks completely different in that
Yeah.
movie. Wow.
Same guy.
So, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and he's really Australian, but like he's played a lot of American characters. So
Right.
I was surprised that it was him too. I was always like, who is that guy? And then I looked him up finally, and I was like, oh my God, I've known him for like 1,000 different things. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's been in a ton of things, but no one really kind of recognizes him
Yeah,
at the
he
time.
hasn't maybe had like a major breakout role yet,
Mm.
um, but yeah, he's this Australian millionaire billionaire. He runs an outfit called Koala Airlines. Pay attention
Mm.
to that. That'll come back later. We're
Oh,
going
put
to
a pin in
thread
that.
that back in.
Yep.
Um, and so Ron's got this bet with Jack Lime that he can get better ratings. So they're having a meeting before their first broadcast, and Ron just asks, "Well, can't we just tell people what they want to hear and just report on more sensationalist news? And
Mm.
what if we just talk about what's right in America? All the things that are awesome."
Yeah. Adam
And then
McKay working a little social commentary, perhaps.
Yeah,
always, and
it's
that's what
so
I love
interesting.
about it.
You can see like Adam McKay just kind of threading in more serious statements throughout his comedies before he pivots over to like more dramatic stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, this movie
Yeah,
came out. This movie came out after the other
the
guys.
other guys.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and like if you
Another
remember,
favorite.
yeah, and just remember the other guys at the end during the credits. It talks about how a Ponzi scheme works, and it's just very.
All the
It ha-
statistics and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like no jokes in it at all. It's like literally them telling you how Ponzi schemes work, and like I feel
yeah,
like that was the first dip of him first dipping his toe into the commentary waters and getting a little political about things. And now we have this, and then of course after
yeah,
this, he did The Big
Yeah,
Short, and like now he's like,
the animation of that those credits is like amazing, and he had to have paid extra for that. Like
yeah.
I just can't imagine the studio being like, yes, we should pay a lot for these animations that are talking about Ponzi schemes. Like he fought for that, and that's like
yeah,
that to me is really cool. I
yeah,
do
Hmm.
think he tries to educate with humor.
Yeah.
yeah, because like it's the end credits. Like yeah, like you wouldn't expect them to pay that much money for the credits of a movie, but yeah, that's a good point you make too.
Well, I always think about Dan Harmon fought a lot for the community credits, and those are some of the most expensive like credits that we've seen in recent years, I would say, because opening credits are kind of like gone with the days of like older sitcoms.
Mm.
Hmm.
So just credits in general, credit scenes are usually not as elaborate as they used to be, except Marvel brought it a little bit back for movies. But I'm going on a tangent. Anyway,
We never do that on this podcast. Never
yeah,
do
you
that
guys are
again, Sue.
always so good about sticking to everything.
I mean, we always, if we're, there's one thing this podcast is famous for, we always stick to the topic. Always, always, always. So anyway,
Absolutely.
Brian starts an 11-part series on the human vagina.
Oh, right,
Uh,
he does that.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
Wait, before we talk about the broadcast, can I just say
yeah.
the second date between Shawnee and Steve, or like the second run-in
Oh yeah, when they go to the
between
soda
Shawnee
machine.
and Brick? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
this is before that they talk. This is when he asks her on a date, but before that he says one of my favorite lines. They're going back and forth and trading these kind of like idiot lines to each other. And he says, I can always guess how many jelly beans there are in a jelly bean jar, even if it's not right. And like, I just think that's such a great line. It's just like the timing that he has when he says it is so
Hmm.
good. It gets me every time.
it's a funny line.
Um,
I like how
but
Chani
yeah,
says. I like how Chani says she's a real go-getter and a person people.
Yeah.
She can
yes,
type 500 words a minute with only 300 errors.
Yeah.
exactly. Like it's so good. Those little nuggets. Anyway, when they go into the newscast, I like the guys who are behind the scenes. He's like, "Did you notice that there was weird stuff in the prompter?" And they're like, "Whatever, it's 2 a.m. Let it roll."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then yeah, then Brian's story, the 50-part series on the human vagina,
That's
Right.
right. Top
the
top
wonder,
50.
Yeah.
top 50
The top
Jai
50
Jais.
vaginas.
Wow.
I think
What a
he
list.
says Jai Jais, which is great. And then he also talks about like Ron tries to guess who number one is. He tries to get it out of him, and he's like, "I can't tell you that, but I'll tell you number two, Madame Curie." Like what? Like that is such
Wow.
a funny random toss out. I'm like,
Wow.
the woman who created physics and chemistry.
Yep.
Didn't see that coming.
Nope.
But yeah, so Ron and the crew, they do this, pro-America newscast. They show puppies and American flags and highlight reels of sports, gets the audience riled up, and he ends it all saying, "Hey, don't just have a great night, have an American night."
Yeah.
Of course, Linda Jackson sees this, gets extremely upset, and fires them all immediately. I believe Ron said, "If you were a man, I'd knock you out," and Linda challenges him to a fight, and she ends up kicking his ass. And
Kicking his ass back to the 5th grade, where he's talking about how the 8th grade boy saw his pee-pee. Well, he sounds like a balloon. It was very funny. I liked the Paul Rudd commentary during that.
balloon.
Yeah.
But then we find out that it was actually a huge success.
Yeah, there's a 2 a.m. rating spike. They actually tripled Jack Lime's numbers, so they have to hire him back and continue in that direction. They do even more sensationalist stuff. Brian smokes crack on the air.
Yeah.
They all smoke crack on the air.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny. I love the guys in the control room holding up signs that say "Don't smoke crack." It's just...
And we see them start to light up, and then it just hard cut to them all being arrested out on the sidewalk.
Okay. Well, all right,
maybe we shouldn't have smoked crack on the air.
Yeah, now we learned.
This is how we learn, people.
But
and this begins another runner where they all admit at random times that they were smoking crack.
Yeah. And the new approach is a massive success. They win Emmys. We see them getting celebratory perms.
Yeah. I think as Freddie says, it's total crap and people can't stop watching.
Yeah.
Again, social commentary.
Yep. And speaking of which, Brian finally has a really good story that he's excited about for Sweets, and it's called Death from Above. And it's about issues with Koala Airlines.
Ooh. Like parts fall off the airplanes, which seems like a bad quality in an airplane. So,
you don't want that.
So meanwhile, we have Linda, who she throws herself at Ron. So they start a romance. I guess we can call it a romance, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, we could. That's what it is, kind of. Yeah.
They start smushing parts together.
Yeah.
And they have a sex scene where it's all the best moments of Black history happens during it.
We cut to the first the interracial kiss from Star Trek, where Captain Kirk and Uhura are both in togas and telekinetic aliens are forcing them to kiss.
Yeah. There's a shot of Jackie Robinson. A scene from Different Strokes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just so random. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a really ridiculous sex scene, but they also use the character of Linda to after they do it, she goes back to her office and Ken Shalaby is waiting for her, and he's like, "Hey, you got to kill this Death from Above story." And through her relationship with Ron, she's able to convince him of synergy, which is, if you've ever worked for a corporation, they love talking about verticals and synergy. How they can use one piece of the corporation to justify another piece of it. So
message
capitalism.
We also have a nice scene where we see Brian Fantana's Jimmy cabinet, seeing the wide variety of ineffective condoms that he has.
Yes.
I think he says at one point, he was like, "I had 3 of my 7 illegitimate children using this condom."
I think that I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, one of the condoms is called the Gentle Mongoose. It's made out of real mongoose hair, so it doesn't work.
And there's another one made out of denim, which just sounds unpleasant for everyone involved.
Oh, yeah. So much chafing.
Yeah.
I just think it's a very funny way to keep the runner of his cologne cabinet is now he has a condom cabinet. It's just next level. I thought that was a smart way of bringing that back, that joke.
Yeah, and we do have a Sex Panther callback later on in the film.
We do.
Yes.
but we'll get there.
But he's going through his condoms because Brick is going to go on a date with Shawnee,
mhm.
and that is when they go to a date at the soda machine
In
in
a
a
laundromat.
laundromat,
Yeah.
and
Which she says is
they
the
make
nicest soda machine she's ever been to. So,
just so much romance in this movie, like really sweet love,
It is kind of oddly sweet in a weird way. It's like, oh, this is kind of
right?
yeah. It's weird, but it's sweet.
mhm.
Yeah, and then
And
they
they
make
make
out.
out while Xanadu is playing, and she's wearing like old man Fruit of the Loom panties.
Yeah.
It's just such a funny run.
Well,
It's
it
just
is
like
laundry
early.
day.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Love is in the air.
Yes.
Yeah. And meantime, Ron is having dinner with Linda's family, and that goes perfectly smoothly, and nothing objectionable happens whatsoever.
Mm.
No.
Right?
Um, Shockingly, no, because he tries to talk all jive to them
hmm
and get all look at this honker over here and whatnot. Yeah, this like I was kind of surprised by this. I was like, how long have they been dating that she could bring him home to meet the folks and whatnot?
But he says that their love burns fast and bright.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a young love that burns
Mm,
fast and bright.
it's
So,
true.
so Darren,
Uh,
on a scale of like 1 to the dinner and Soul Man, how would you say this family
Ooh,
dinner falls?
oh,
it's
Dinner
it's
and
good.
Soul Man. That was oof.
Yeah, we watched Soul Man a few weeks ago for Black
Yes,
History Month,
yes, right on.
as you do.
As you do, as is
Yes.
tradition.
Yeah,
As is tradition.
because we
Uh,
wanted a movie that spoke to the Black experience.
yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
They're
Uh,
like, this is how 2026 is going. This is what you
Yep,
do to celebrate
that's
Black
right.
History Month. One of the most abysmal representations ever.
oh boy. But yeah,
And
I would.
we wanted to celebrate great Black Americans like C. Thomas Howell. So,
There you go. See. Oh, but yeah. So this dinner, between that and that, I will give it a. Hmm. I'll give it a 6 on the scale.
okay,
It's not. It's
that
not
seems
Soul Man.
fair.
It's not Soul Man bad, but ooh, boy, it gets. The mention of Ripple. I was like, oh boy. All right. Let's let's pull this back.
I mean, even in the cab ride back, he was like, I thought that went well. She's like, you called my family pipe hitting bitches. Like, that was, and the irony is that he was also smoking crack.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So
He was projecting.
he was projecting. That was what it is. See, again, that Adam McKay makes you think.
hmm
Mhm.
layers.
Yep.
We
Layers
also see
upon.
Ron. He's trying to still maintain a relationship with his son Walter. We see them having some father-son time where Ron tells Walter that he should be scared of voodoo and never let anyone take him to Haiti.
That's just good
So
Yeah.
advice. That's just
yeah,
good advice.
I mean,
Which
I've
again,
seen Let Him Let
Veronica has
Die.
such a
I know
great.
what sort of shit goes on there.
I just love Veronica calling him and just being like, "What did you tell him? He keeps asking us if we're gonna go to Haiti." Like,
Mhm.
it's just such a fun. Like, I love that you don't see a. I'm sad that you don't get more Veronica Corningstone in this
Yeah,
movie, but like her outbursts and her outrage is just great. Every
I
time
mean,
she's on screen, she
she
steals the
has
scene.
maybe one of the more thankless roles because, like in most of her scenes, Christina Applegate has to be kind of the voice of reason.
Yeah.
She is
Hmm.
probably the sanest person in this
Yes.
movie. I mean, Brian Fantana occasionally like flirts with sanity. His intelligence goes
Hmm.
up and down according to the scene. Like sometimes he's
Yes.
smarter than Ron, sometimes he's not. but
Hmm.
Mhm.
yeah, Veronica is pretty consistently smarter than Ron. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then that's when Veronica tells him that his son is going to have a science fair coming up, and he really wants Ron to be there. And
mhm.
Ron says he'll be there, and that's also when Ron finds out that Veronica is interviewing Yasser Arafat.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's
a big get, as they say in the industry.
it's sweeps month, so
Oof.
that's a
Yep.
big get. So he's like, oh, how am I ever going to beat that in the ratings? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also this is where Ron tells Brian that the airplane story is basically killed because I think Linda told Ron like, yeah, we need to kill the story, and
Hmm.
Ron's telling Brian, and Ron's telling Brian that, and then they get into an argument, and then the
Right.
basically ends with the team kind of leaving him out in the lurch because
Yeah.
he's gone ratings crazy.
Yeah. Ron yells at Brick. He actually punches Brian, I think, at one point.
Yeah, it makes Brick cry, which is sad.
Yeah.
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 And they all
And
walk off, and he has to do the news by himself.
Mm.
hmm
But thankfully, there's a car chase, and he says, "Give that to me." And they act like this has never been done before in the
Right.
history of TV, and so he makes car chases a thing.
Yeah. It's the
Yes.
first car chase ever, I think. I don't think car chases existed before this. So,
Not until 1980 with
Nope.
Ron
right.
Burgundy.
Yeah.
He gave us car chases. God bless him.
Yeah.
But
But
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's another great like criticism of the 24-hour cable news making a story out of nothing.
Mm.
Right.
Like they're just
Because you
like,
just have to fill that time.
yeah, they're like, say who you think is driving the car, and he like makes up this wild story about what this guy could have done and all these horrible
We
things, and
think
it's
he's
just
on
like,
drugs. He's 6'7", 6'8", but very skinny. And
yeah,
he's just speculating wildly with no basis in fact. He's not talking to anybody. He's not doing any sort of investigation. He's just
nope.
Just
spouting nonsense just to fill the
just
airtime.
making
So,
it up as it goes along.
yeah. And he also
And
misses a science fair.
Yes.
So he's a
we
bad
find out
father
that
to boot.
Mm.
the car was just driven by a confused old man, and
Yeah.
that was it. After like all this like wild speculation, and
Yeah.
so
And we
but
conveniently
everybody
find that
loves
out
it.
at like the very end of the newscast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's just
and we
like, all
see
right,
the
he's signing off.
audience. Yeah, and we see the audience watching this, and they're like, "When did the news get awesome?" So everybody's like glued to their sets again because it's just so suspenseful. And so Ron Burgundy becomes #1 in the ratings, and we get more celebration for that.
We
Uh,
get another jazz flute, but this time on skates because Will's done Blades of Glory and needs
Right?
to use that talent. And so,
Synergy.
Yeah, and I'm sure he wasn't doubled at all. I'm sure that was
no,
100% Will Ferrell in every
he did
single
that
one of those
triple up.
shots.
That's right.
Yeah,
But then he falls because of Jack Lame
Jack Lane.
throwing a cord, and
Yeah.
we get a great cameo from SNL writer Paula Pell,
Mhm.
who just starts screaming, "Don't die in front of us, Ron Burgundy, don't die." And it's just great. Once again, like Paula Pell is just one of those great, like you guys talk a lot about how like there's always like the audience questions. Like
Mhm.
that to me is like peak SNL is when Paula Pell is in the audience because
Yeah,
she
she's always
always
good at
plays
that.
that like such a ridiculous character saying so much, and her facial expressions are phenomenal. I think she's such a great actress on top of being a great writer.
Yeah.
So I was really excited just to see that little moment where I feel like she really stole the scene.
I loved her on AP Bio. That was a
Mm.
great show, and she was great
Yeah, oh
on it.
yeah, another underrated good show.
Yeah,
Another
I got to
underrated.
catch up on that. I haven't watched the episodes like after they moved over to Peacock, and I got to catch up on the rest of that series. Anyway,
Yes.
um, so yeah, so Ron is injured in the ice skating mishap thanks to Jack Lame, and we see him at the doctor. He finds out that both his optic nerves have been separated from his corneas, so he is blind.
Yes, I think the doctor says I think at that point, Rod said, like, what's going to happen to my Anchorman career? And the doctor says, well, maybe you can do something else, like be an oracle or a mystic.
Right? Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I'm no career counselor, but this
Yeah.
is what you can do. It's just so good.
An oracle?
And then we get the most ridiculous scenes ever of Ron has decided to move to a lighthouse, and he is blind, so he like cooks checkers and caulk,
hmm
and there's just it's just a topsy turvy scene, and like every time I watch it, there's always something else ridiculous that you catch in that like little living space of the lighthouse. And the guy's
Yeah, like the
trying.
pictures are upside
Doesn't-
down, and yeah,
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah, I
but
think.
the guy's trying to find him. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, yeah, like at one point, Ron says, yeah, I drank half a bottle of ketchup because I thought it was champagne. And then
Hmm.
Brian's
Yeah,
like, well,
Chateau of the Pop.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Brian's like, what? Wait, like so you drink like a half a bottle? It's like 5 or 6 gulps. You didn't notice it wasn't ketchup until later. It's like I told you, I'm blind.
Yeah, and the just keeps going, I'm blind. Um, just silly, stupid stuff. Uh, and the guys leave, and he's left by himself, so sad. And then all of a sudden, a hand is outreached, and it is Veronica Corningstone.
Yes.
And
She's back.
Veronica returns. She reveals that she's quit her news station because every news station out there is now copying Ron's
Mm.
sensationalistic style. There's no integrity left in the news game anymore, so she quit. Um, then she
yeah,
decides
that was
to.
great. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
But
go
when
ahead.
she was interviewing Yasser Arafat, and
Yeah.
like they like turn off the cameras of her live feed, and she's like, "What's
Hmm.
going on?" They're like, "Oh, there's some car chase," and Yasser Arafat turns and is like, "I would like to see the car chase." Like, I'm pretty sure that's Judd Apatow.
It sounded like Judd
Uh,
Apatow. Yeah.
right?
You
Yeah.
don't get a good look
So
at him, but it sounded like Apatow to me. Yeah.
one of the many cameos in the film, but I thought that was a really funny little moment. And another reason why Veronica's done with the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Ron Burgundy is basically responsible for the downfall of cable news.
Hmm.
Yep.
Which tracks.
Sounds
Uh,
Yeah.
about right.
And
yeah.
uh, then we get the storyline that I think is the one that John's gonna want to cut.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the whole lighthouse bit, I don't feel like it advances the plot in a big way. And I wish
Hmm.
the movie had stayed a little more focused on the news stuff. It is this weird kind of tangent in the movie. And yeah, if I had to cut something, I
Is
would
it Dolby the
at the very
shark?
least cut that down, I think.
So I think that like, and this might be one of those streaming things, but I think the original theater version, Dolby wasn't in it. And I think that then they released it with more footage. Dolby
Hmm.
was in it, and then there's like a super duper cut with like 8 minutes more that like has like a little
Hmm.
bit more explanation of Dolby. Not a
Hmm.
ton. It's still kind of like this didn't need to be there necessarily,
Maybe that's it.
but
Yeah, like for me, the energy, not that there's not funny stuff in that sequence, but for me, the
yes.
energy of the film dips a bit and it loses a little momentum.
Yeah,
So,
I'd
Hmm.
agree. It kind of, I mean, it is kind of funny because that's where
yeah.
Ron and his son find that shark on the beach in a net, and
Hmm.
they kind of free him from the
Hmm.
net, and they call him Dobie, nurse him back to health. Um, Ron and Veronica kind of reconcile and kiss, and she
Yeah.
says that Gary and him and her broke up 2 weeks ago because he was too emotionally stable.
Yeah.
It was so annoying. And yeah, and then
There
it
is a good bit that was cut where with Dolby where the kid says like I think we should name him Dolby and he's like that's a horrible name and like the kid kind of like retorts back to him and he's like why don't you not be a dick and ask me to name something and then immediately nag me like that was like again one of the reasons why I like that kid is that bit but like it's not in a
Hmm.
lot of different cuts
Yeah, I didn't see that in the cut that I watched
no,
on
yeah I
Paramount
don't think
Plus.
yeah, Paramount Plus doesn't have it. I think that's only like the bigger or longer uncut version that you got to pay
Hmm.
Amazon for.
ugh.
Um,
Yeah. No, I watched it on a DVD. Actually, I went old school and got the DVD from my library, and yeah, I didn't see. I mean, I saw this whole Dobie part, but I didn't see any of
mhm.
Yeah.
the other stuff.
Yeah. So they nurse the shark back to health, and it grows, and they eventually release it back into the ocean. And
And he sings like a song to it for
yeah.
like a good minute or so.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Which
Yep.
I mean, which is it's weird, and I get it, but yeah, like it's like you said, John. It doesn't really add much to the. I mean, I know
Yeah.
this is supposed to be like a bunch of kind of funny parts kind of coming together. So there's no. I mean, there is a story, but it's like it's not like a super like a story you have to sort of
Yeah.
stick with.
I
But
just feel like they probably could have cut this like the same way that they cut the whole terrorist subplot in the first one that had Amy
Mm.
Poehler and the terrorist group,
Hmm.
Maya
and that
Rudolph.
they
Yep.
eventually put that in Wake Up Ron Burgundy, I think it was,
Hmm.
Yeah.
which was like basically a full length movie they made out of scraps from the first one.
Oof.
Yeah.
So,
No, I
but
think that it's probably similar where they definitely could have cut that back.
yeah. And so when they go back into the lighthouse after letting Dobie back out into the ocean, Ron gets a message from his doctors who calls and says, uh, I don't know if you've gotten my previous messages. I think someone's been erasing them, but there's a procedure that could possibly restore your sight. And Ron confronts Veronica about this. Veronica admits, yes, I have been erasing those messages because we've been doing so well. And
Mm.
I'm scared that if you get your sight back, you'll go back to being how you were before. So,
Okay.
And he storms off and gets into a car and drives
mhm.
away and immediately crashes because he's like, I'm blind, someone get me a car.
Yeah,
Um, which again, like, it's a stupid section, but there are so many little stupid laughs like that that I love.
yeah, yeah.
It's good. So, but yeah. So then he gets the surgery, and he has his sight back. He can see again. Everybody celebrates. He goes back to GNN, a hero, ready to reclaim his throne.
Hmm.
Veronica shows up at GNN. She sees Linda. The two of them have a very terse conversation, to say the
Hmm.
least. And that's when Veronica tells Ron about their son's piano recital that's happening in a half hour.
Hmm.
And like
Yep.
he really wants Ron to be there in 30 minutes.
Yeah. But then just after he's gets word on that, he gets word on a breaking story with it's a sitcom actress discovered that her husband was cheating on her, so she cut his penis off. And what else? So like she goes on the run with it or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
then she fled with it,
Yeah.
and is now in the middle of a high speed chase.
Right.
she's in a white Bronco.
Bronco.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
go. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there's a great joke earlier in the movie where Brian Fantano's saying like, "Oh yeah, well if we're not doing the newscast here, I could go back and just hang out with my buddies, O.J. Simpson, Robert Blake, and Phil Spector. We call ourselves the Lady Killers."
Yikes.
Yeah. It was a great little nugget there.
Yeah, yeah. I think he says like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get like T-shirts that say that."
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great name.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so Veronica's like, you have to report this story.
Right.
Walter wrote an original piano piece, but this is more important.
Yeah.
And so we see Ron's triumphant return to the news desk.
yeah.
Yes.
But it's very short lived because as he's about to report on this crazy news story, he breaks down and admits that this isn't real news. Real news is supposed to let people know what the powerful are up to, so that power doesn't become corrupt. But what happens when the powerful owns the news? Hmm. Now, it's a
Hmm.
very heavy-handed message. I mean, it's true though. I get what
There
he's
may
saying,
as
but
well just be like a neon sign that just says Adam McKay thinks this. Adam McKay thinks this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's not true, but yeah.
yeah.
I just
But
think now more than ever, when you were saying in the very beginning of this that this movie holds up, I feel like in this time where, there's a lot of talk when it comes to news that there's no source of truth. I think
mm,
that this movie was calling it out pretty early on, even
Mm,
though it was 2013 from like the 1980s, being like, this is really a bad idea and this is
yeah,
going to go
yeah.
horribly wrong.
yeah.
Um,
No,
and it has.
yeah,
Uh,
I will admit that this movie was pretty ahead of its time. Saying, I mean, now
yeah.
of course we have Bezos and Washington Post and all the other horribleness going on. Yeah, this kind of saw all that coming for sure.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
Uh, and
Uh,
so he says, "Good night, America, and never forget you deserve the truth."
Yeah.
mm,
And that's a great
mm.
sign off. And
And then
he
of course,
goes,
yeah, and then he says Koala Airlines is a really shitty airline.
"Yep,
Yeah, which is cool. And so he's
yep,
reconciled with the news team at this point. He admits that he was wrong to kill Brian's story. He's all good with them, but he rushes off to be with his son, who's doing his piano recital. And
We also get a great moment of Brick being extremely lucid and being like,
mhm.
Ron, you fell from your own hubris, and like this is
Yes.
what happened to you. And like everyone's like, wait, what? And he's like, I was in a movie. Like he's like, I was
Yeah.
telling the news, like it just goes immediately back to Brick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just has that moment of clarity.
And there
Yeah.
was one scene where at Walter's recital where we see Veronica in the audience, and next to him is an empty seat. Next to her is an empty seat, and on that seat is
Mhm.
the sign that says "Reserved for Ron Burgundy." He promised he would be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like
So
almost an
good.
airplane gag.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but then Ron runs across the park to get to his son's recital. Yeah, and this
Mhm.
is the big scene, the big battle scene.
Big climax.
The
Yeah.
big climax. We see
This is where
Ron.
they spent all the money that they
Yes,
had in that 50 budget.
Yeah.
this was half the budget right here, at least minimum.
Yeah.
Because Ron runs into Jack Lime and his crew in
Excuse me, Jack Lame.
Jack Lame. You know what? I'm so sorry. Or Jack
Yeah.
Jack LeMay. I think.
Yeah,
LeMay.
Jack LeMay. Although he really
Yes,
shouldn't be saying it that way because that's cheating.
Yep.
And Jack LeMay wants to fight once and for all because having to change his name has ruined him. So it's just Ron running there. And he's like, well, it's only 4 against 1. This is unfair. And then that's when his boys roll up. So now it's a proper battle. But then we get the BBC News head up by its head anchor, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yep.
Yep.
And they want to fight.
Yep.
And then we get, repelling from the skies, MTV News with their lead anchor, Kanye West. And they want to fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we get Entertainment News pulling up in a dune buggy with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and they want to fight.
Yeah.
And then we get the Canadian News with Jim Carrey and Marion Cotillard, and they want to fight.
Yep.
And then we get ESPN News with Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we get...
If only we had some hint that Will Smith was predisposed to violence.
Oh, boy.
I'm just saying.
Oh, boy. John, that's... Come on, that's old. That's
I'm just saying this movie is prophetic in many ways.
John, oh, boy. That'd be Black History Month. And,
But then we get
the History Network with Liam Neeson,
Mhm.
a Minotaur.
A Minotaur.
And the ghost of Stonewall Jackson, played
Right.
by John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
And then we get Mac Tannen again, Harrison Ford, who wants to join in, who, when the moon is in the sky at a certain angle, he turns into a were hyena.
Right.
And so, wow.
And then we get Kirsten Dunst as
Yes.
Eltrosius, Maiden of the Clouds.
This is like a
Yep.
this was like a fever dream.
Altrusius, the juiciest. Yes,
Yeah.
it's so insane. Like, it is literally like, I know, listener, if you have not seen this, it seems like Darren's being ridiculous about how it's like, and then, but it literally, like, as soon as
Yeah.
someone enters and you have a second to be like, whoa, another group comes in just as fast. And it's really,
Yeah.
the reveals are fantastic.
And,
Yeah.
and the news team fight was probably the standout sequence from the first film, I would say.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And this one definitely tops it in terms of the star power and the outrageousness of it. And yeah, they did a really nice job of upping the ante.
Yeah,
The production value for sure.
Yeah, and I think I remember, like, it was when Will Smith appeared on the screen. That's when everybody in the audience was like, "What the? Whoa, what the fuck?" I mean, Jim Carrey was a big deal, surprise.
Yeah, but you expect him to cameo in a comedy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Marion Cotillard probably not. That was surprising, but
Right.
yeah, Will
Yeah.
Smith. That was like, what the fuck? What are you doing
Right.
here? I think at one point
Yeah.
Brian Fantana says, "Holy shit, there's a lot of news."
There's too much news.
Yeah, the market's
That's
getting
like
oversaturated.
saturated.
Yeah,
Adam McKay believes this.
Yeah, and this time instead of a grenade, Brick has a gun from the future. No explanation. He just has a gun from the future.
yep,
Um,
just has it. And then
Brian throws his bottle of Sex Panther cologne as a grenade.
we
Yep.
see the ghost of Stonewall Jackson stealing souls of
Right.
recently killed people. Give me your soul.
There's a mint julep on the other side for you. Like, it's so ridiculous.
I really miss Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly and Adam McKay making goofy comedies together.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I still hope that those guys can work out their differences at some point and do something fun together. I don't know or think that's necessarily going to happen, but it would be fun because they had something good there.
Maybe they will as they get older. Almost like the same way Harold Ramis and Bill Murray had their falling out, but then as they got older,
Right.
they kind of mended fences and stuff. So I don't
Right.
know. It could happen, just not anytime soon. I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I look forward to our eventual fallout. Darren.
yes,
That's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
We'll start out competing podcasts and
Yes.
just disparage each other on them.
I know. It's good.
It's going to be John C. Reilly that rips you two apart, too, isn't it?
Probably.
It probably
That's
will.
gonna
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll come together. We'll do a concert in Central Park, like Simon and Garfunkel. It's gonna be great.
Right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll
but
have an
yeah.
awkward reunion like Opie and Anthony.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was, oof. All right. Well, that's a whole nother podcast. Let's talk about that.
That is.
But yeah,
we see at one point Sacha Baron Cohen, he throws an axe at Ron, and the axe is stopped in midair by Gary. It's Greg Kinnear making his return, and he stops the axe with his mind powers.
And Ron's like, I knew it. You do have mind powers. Yeah, this scene is just insane.
Yeah.
Insane, like a fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
And just when you think it's gone so crazy and like he's gotten away, then we get, Jack LeMay comes back and he's going to get him this time. But we get Vince Vaughn reappearing as his character.
West
from the
Mantooth.
first movie.
Mantooth. Yeah.
And we get another Dorothy Mantooth shout out.
Yeah.
And he says a really badass line.
He's like, I know that with the stuff I've done, I'm going to hell, so I'm not afraid of that or something. Yeah.
I'm not afraid to burn here for it. And they're like, damn, that's hot. That's a great line.
And so Vince Vaughn, Wes Mantooth reveals that like while I've been talking, all my buddies, because they all arrive on motorcycles.
Yeah.
He says, while I've been talking, these guys have all been emptying their gas tanks at your feet. So I just have to like throw a match, and we're all going up in flames.
Oof.
And Jack LeMay backs down.
Right, and then Brick is like, "Hey, we win! Let's celebrate!" And he pulled out a lit sparkler out of nowhere.
Right,
and of course he accidentally drops it, and kaboom!
Yep.
Wild. While all this is happening, Walter, Ron's son, is playing the music from his recital, and at when he's done with the recital, we see Ron Burgundy and his crew there, like all burnt up and blown up, but they made it to the recital. And Walter's so happy. Like, hey, you made it. And then cut to Brick and Chani getting married on the beach, saying their insane vows. Like, everything I have is yours. My student loan debt, my
real estate debt.
My real estate debt. I've made some bad choices financially.
So much debt. Yeah.
And then, of course, while this is on the beach, somebody sees a shark in the water, and I think they realize it's Dobby. So, of course, Ron jumps into the water in a full suit, going to hug Dobby, and of course, Dobby immediately attacks him. And we're back at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
Foreshadowing. And
then Baxter, of course, rescues Ron as he is wont to do.
As he is wont to do.
Whenever wildlife is attacking Ron Burgundy, Baxter is there to to save the day.
Yes, Baxter, the his confidant, his champion, his
He's like a
he's
little
everything.
miniature Buddha covered in hair,
Covered in fur. I love
covered
Baxter.
in fur. Yeah,
Baxter's fantastic. Little dogs are amazing.
dogs. Yeah, dogs in general are the best.
They are,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah.
Dogs are phenomenal.
Meanwhile, my dog just started barking her face off, running to the kitchen. So I just had to run and leave and grab her. So apologies for that. Little dogs are the greatest.
They are. Hooray for Baxter. It's okay.
Even when they disrupt podcasts, they're the greatest.
Yes, and she would totally like fight off a bear and a shark for me. So it's
Right.
a fair trade.
Aw,
Right. A little dog would fight a bear and a shark, any type of ferocious animal for you.
yeah.
Yes, my dog Tina Turner
Oh.
would do that.
And
But
yeah, that's the movie,
that's
guys.
the end of this
Yeah.
movie.
I was kind of surprised there weren't like gags in the closing credits like in the first Anchorman. I was kind of expecting
Yeah.
that. I didn't quite remember if they were there or not, but I was like going through the credits and I was like, "Oh, are there really no scenes in the credits? That's weird." Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought there would have been like some, like a gag reel or something, or a
Yeah.
after credit scene, but nothing. No, they're just in and out.
Well, there was an after credit scene with Brick crawling under the table and eating a cookie.
Oh, I think I missed that. Oh
I
shit!
saw that on Paramount. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the Paramount one.
Gotta gotta go back and watch that then.
Yep. I
Totally
mean,
missed it.
it's a very vital 10 seconds. So,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very key to the story.
yeah.
Yes. It's basically, and he's there with Linda and Dolby.
Yeah.
Just
Nice,
bringing it all together.
nice. It all ties in
Yeah.
synergy again.
Yes.
Synergy.
So yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah,
I'd like this movie as a sequel. I don't think I would put it quite on the same level as the first Anchorman, but I enjoy it. I think it's a worthy sequel.
Yeah, like I mean, like I said before, like the first time I watched it, I remember not being too crazy about it, but I think it's because I compared it too much to the first one, which is something that happens, to most people, where like the first one is so great, anything that comes out just kind of pale in comparison in your mind. But if you like, but after some time away from it, and I watched it, and I just sort of accepted it for what it was. And after rewatch, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is actually a pretty good film. This is actually better
Hmm.
than I gave it credit for originally. So yeah, I'm glad I watched it. I thought it was pretty great.
I think it's one of the best movies of all time.
Oh my!
And I know, listen, like, is it fine cinema? No. Are there problems with it? Absolutely. But like when you're just like, I want to watch a funny movie, I think it's a great funny movie. I think it delivers everything that you would want from a funny movie. And it also has some really smart political satire woven in that Adam McKay style. I mean, The Other Guys again is like one of my other favorite movies. So like I think, and like I would say like my most favorite like serious movie is I Heart Huckabees,
Ooh,
which is
Hmm.
also kind of like a weird heady comedy as well. So I know I'm a weird genre of movie person. I'm more of a TV kind of gal, but I
okay.
think especially when you were like, "Do you want to watch a movie?" I was like, "This is the perfect SNL movie for me," because I just think it really has the spirit of SNL in it because it feels like it was written for sketches.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see that.
absolutely. But Sue, so you're a TV person. So is there anything out right now? What are you watching on TV right now? Any hot recommendations you got?
I've been watching a lot of weird like mini dramas, like the 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 Stolen Girl
Ooh.
and like the Gone Child, like a lot of things where kids get kidnapped.
Oh wow.
All Her Fault was really good on Peacock. Just like those little like it's like 8 episodes. You do your laundry, you fold your laundry while you're watching it, kind of things, and that kind of stuff I've been enjoying. But in terms of comedies, the sitcom Stumble is really
Oh,
good.
the cheerleader.
Kristen, yeah, Kristen Chenoweth is in it, but she's not a main character. The one of the women that was also in Claws is in it,
Okay.
and Taram Killian from
SNL.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
Hmm.
SNL
Yes,
connection.
he is
Nice.
in it. It's a really funny sitcom. If you're looking for like just an easy sitcom, it's like 13 episodes, really quick and silly. And like you could probably tell from listening to this, like I love a pun. I love like a silly sight gag, and they have a ton of them in that show. The writing is very silly.
Puns are fun.
So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Awesome. John, any TV recommendations from your end?
Oh boy, what am I watching? I'm watching The Pit. I'm watching the Scrubs
Yeah.
revival, and I'm watching DTF St. Louis. I've been enjoying that
Mm.
quite a
I've
bit.
been enjoying that more than I expected to as well.
Yeah, I was not familiar with the fellow who's doing it. He did a previous show called Patriot, which I haven't seen yet, but I
Hmm.
think I'm going to check it out because I'm enjoying DTF St. Louis enough. There was a sequence in the fourth episode that's just like this out of nowhere random thing, and it's really
Hmm.
funny and very random. And I don't want to spoil it, but it goes right up to the edge, but it doesn't quite break the reality of the show. But
Okay.
Oh, was that
yeah,
last night's episode?
that was the fourth episode.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched the fifth one, which was the one that was
Okay.
last night as we were recording it. I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's Jason Bateman and David Harper are biking while it's happening. If that tells you
Okay.
anything,
Mm.
All right. Yeah.
I
yeah.
gotta watch
So
that. Okay. Yeah, I
so
mean, I've been watching a lot of Bill Orr and stuff. Shrinking, I still like quite a bit. Still
So
watching that.
good. Yeah.
And the new show, Rooster, the one on HBO Max. I've been kind of
I
getting
got to
into that
start
too.
that. Yeah, you were recommending that to me a couple weeks ago, and I got to
Okay.
start
I
that.
wasn't sure if it's worth trying, so I'll give that a shot.
It's good. It's good. I like it. Steve Carell's from Anchorman 2. He's a hoot in it,
Yeah.
and I like it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Okay, and that's TV talk. And that's our episode, guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast as always. Sue Funk, you've been a true pleasure, a true joy, true delight. Please, where can the people find you? If you have anything to plug, please, the floor is yours.
Congratulatory is the name of my album. It's on wherever you stream music. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify, Tidal, all of those good places. Please download, listen, send it to somebody who you think needs a laugh. And you can follow me on social media. I'm the Sue Funk, an E at all of the end of those words. So TheSueFunke on all platforms. So check me out on the socials, kids.
Great.
Dope. And as always, you can follow us on the socials at SNL Nerds on the Blue Sky because we don't fuck with Twitter no more. You could
Nope.
listen to this madness on our YouTube page at non-productive.com. Donate to our Patreon, non-productive.com. And as always, you can follow me on all the social medias at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on all the socials at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic. And speaking of the socials, on our Blue Sky page, our friend John Ananias had this to say about Anchorman 2. He says,
Ooh.
I think this defied the track record of belated comedy sequels and wound up pretty great. It's not on par with the first, but it's no desperate nostalgia grab. McKay and Farrell had something to say about the rise of cable news and the imbeciles steering it, and said it in their giddily absurdist way. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analysis of the
Yeah,
film.
they definitely saw what was coming. They definitely saw all this
Yeah,
Yeah.
insanity coming. I will give them that.
and I just came across a couple interesting bits of trivia while
Ooh.
scrolling through the Wikipedia page.
Ooh la la.
Um,
Hmm.
it said that in the lead up to this film, like Vince Vaughn, he confirmed that he was going to return in the film, and he teased that we might possibly see Dorothy Mantooth in the film. That didn't end up happening, but he did drop who they were hoping to have play Dorothy Mantooth. Do you want to guess?
Mm. Uh,
It's
Kathleen
good.
Turner.
Who's that?
Kathleen Turner.
No, but I like the way your mind's at. Uh, Angela Lansbury.
Oh,
ooh,
Yeah,
that
I
would
like
be
that. I like that a lot.
that would have
I,
been good.
I, I
that would have
wonder if
been
it got as far as them making an
amazing.
offer to her.
That would have been good.
You guys
And
heard that Jamie
also,
Lee Curtis is going to be in the new Murder, She Wrote, right?
that's true. That
I
should be
did.
fun. I look
I
forward to
did
seeing
hear
that. I
that.
Sorry,
love
that was
Jamie Lee
such a
Curtis.
non sequitur. Go on.
Yeah. But there's also a sequel on a section on the Wikipedia page about a possible sequel. Talk about a possible Anchorman 3. And
That's not happening.
Adam McKay said on March 1st, 2018, so this was a little while ago, he said that the third film could be having to do with the Iraq War. McKay said, I can give you a little half sentence. I don't know if you remember the first and even the second Iraq War. Maybe it was mainly the second Iraq War. They embedded journalists, and that gave us a kind of whole story idea. I don't want to say too much, but I'll just tell you that embedded journalist Ron Burgundy, Veronica Corningstone, the news team, that definitely gave us a big idea. So that's an interesting concept. So, presenting war as entertainment, as the Iraq wars tended to do.
Yeah, it's interesting concept, but I don't think it'll ever happen.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Both with the falling out among Adam McKay, Will Ferrell, and John C. Reilly, and very unfortunately because of Christina Applegate's health problems as well. I think, I think that ship has probably sailed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But we got these two amazing movies. We still got that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, well, that I think wraps up our coverage of Anchorman 2. So thanks very much for listening to this. We're back next week with the return of SNL, the US SNL.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you watch the second episode of SNL UK? I haven't watched it yet.
I did. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Like they do some stuff there that I don't think American SNL has done quite yet. So they're doing a good job of sort of separating itself from the American version. They're being its own thing, but it's
nice.
So far, so good. I dig it.
All right. Well,
Is Lauren heading production on that as well?
He's an EP on it. Yeah, he's like heading up.
Yeah.
Thing.
I don't think he's as hands-on as he is on the U.S. version, but
yeah. But so maybe it's just his name is on it, but he is attached to the UK version for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
He's cashing the checks.
Yeah.
Seems like somebody like I feel like this more than other SNLs around the world seems like he's been more vocal about it and promoting it, which he's not like a big promoter, but I've seen him do a few things on it. And I just think it's interesting. He's a control freak, I think.
I mean, it could be just because we share a common language. I mean, he's probably not going to promote the ones in the other foreign countries.
Yeah, they don't speak our language. But they have been other versions of SNL in other countries, like I think Japan, Montreal had one. I believe
our friends at the Saturday Night Network, they just recently released a video that's like an overview of all the various versions of SNL.
Yeah, like the one in Spain and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like Lauren hasn't really said much about those. But yeah, he has been he's all in on the UK version. So
yeah, I think he recognizes there's more potential overlap of the audience. So yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but next week we've got an exciting episode of SNL to look forward to. We've got Jack Black returning to host for, is it the third time, Darren? I think it's the third.
This is his fifth time hosting. We're getting the 5-timers. That's right. Hold on to your hats, kids. Hold on to your butts.
Ooh.
We're getting a 5-timer sketch, baby.
Okay, all right. The SNL costume department's working overtime on robes.
Right.
they're getting those smoking jackets ready, and we've also got as a musical guest Mr. Jack White. So, an old Twitter joke has come to fruition.
That's right. The joke has become a reality.
Yeah, it's just like when Betty White hosted because Twitter thought it was a good idea. So we got Jack Black, we got Jack White. Well, we're going to have some sort of Jack Gray sketch, I'm sure.
It's as good as written.
Yeah, I'm betting money on it. So yeah, that should be a fun one. So we'll look forward to that. So join us next week and we'll discuss everything we think about that one. So. That'll be next week with Jack Black and Jack White. But until then, Nerds out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.